Hey, what's going on everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at performance of the newly released Hogwarts Legacy running on the Steam Deck. So I've personally been having a blast with this game, and keep in mind it was only released a couple days ago as making this video, so performance will increase on all platforms. It's just a matter of the developers, finding those bugs and different ways to make it run a little better on different systems. But I gotta say, out of the box, we're getting some decent performance, be it at 30 FPS, low settings, and when you're indoors or sparsely populated areas like we're in right now, it runs at a steady 30. In fact, when you're indoors, you can actually take this up to 40 FPS, and running it at 40 does make for a better experience, but unfortunately at the time of release, a couple days later, that's when I'm making this video, we're still gonna get dips under 30 with these default settings in certain areas. But there are a few tweaks that we can do to try to kind of alleviate that. It's not 100% surefire right now, depending on the area you're in, but it will help out with performance kind of across the board. So I want to show you real quick what I'm talking about here. So we've made it over to Hogsmeade, still using those default settings, and there's just a lot going on here. You're going to see this dip down to even 25 FPS in some cases. Now sometimes it's a split second, comes right back up. But usually, taking corners and things like that, you're definitely going to feel these dips. There's a couple things we can do here to try to alleviate it, and the first one would be set a manual GPU clock from the performance menu on the Steam Deck. Set it to 1600 megahertz. That seems to help out a little bit, but you got to keep in mind that, the Steam Deck is already going to try to take it up that far, and this is a very GPU intensive game, especially given that we're working with the lower end iGPU here on the Steam Deck. But what I've tried to do is just go into the settings here, and as you can see, default, we're going to be using FSR 1.0. I set this to FSR 2.0, and then either go to balanced or performance. And to tell you the truth, between balanced and performance, I don't notice much of a difference there, so it's really up to you. You can kind of experiment with it. I also turn off film grain because I'm not a big fan of it. But now we're still at 30 FPS, low settings, and we've actually taken the internal resolution down a little bit by going to balanced, and we're actually using FSR 2.0 instead of 1.0. Doesn't dip down as far, but as you can see, we still get down to 29 FPS from 30. And I'm sure this will be fixed in later updates. I don't see why they couldn't come up with some kind of shader cache or something that would help out with this on the Steam Deck. And with it set up like this right now, we can get around 2.5 hours of battery life. I've been checking out total system power draw, from the battery. That's with the screen, brightness, and sound, everything kind of included. But if you don't mind losing out on a little more battery life, there's one more thing we can do here. From the settings, FSR 2.0, we're actually going to go with performance just to be safe. And we're going to set the frame rate limit to 60 FPS. Now, obviously, this game isn't going to run at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck, but it will run at a pretty decent 40 in a lot of places. We're going to open our performance menu, take the refresh rate of the Steam Deck screen down to 40, make sure we're set to 40 here, and there we have it. This is how I've been running the game, and it's few and far in between where I'll see it dip under 60 FPS. But even at 40 indoors, it just makes for a much smoother experience. And this is how I've got it set up right now, and I figured I'd go ahead and share this with you. But overall, been having a really good time with this game on the Steam Deck. Now, I'm really hoping for a couple more optimizations just to keep a nice lock 30 for everybody. But as you saw, until then, there are a few tweaks that we can do to this. And if you've come up with a better configuration, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to test it out. Once they put out a couple more updates or patches, I will be doing another video, so keep an eye on the channel. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. And like always, thanks for watching.